Hey y'all, Zach G here. Once again, I'm back. I know it's been a long time since I've even recorded or even uploaded a video, but I've been busy. You know, during the summer I was working a bunch, didn't have enough time really to go fish, and then I got back to school, and I've been busy with school, you know, and about to get even busier just since I'm working on getting a job. But I'm gonna fill y'all in what's going on with the fishing that I haven't recorded so far, well, that I haven't recorded in the beginning, and also fill y'all in on the plans for some more fishing later on down the line. But first we're going to be going over what the fishing was like when I first got back to school, or since I haven't even done any videos, and what went on there, and then just go on from there. Okay, so first got back to school, me and my buddy went on a trip before school even started, and went down all the way down to the end of the beach that we usually fish on, fished the jetties that were down there for a little bit, then went back and fished some of the beach, and ended up catching a bunch of little undersized redfish, which I'll show you a picture right here. And those were a lot of fun catching. Just stinks that they weren't you know, big enough to keep, but you know, whatever. You gotta go back to the ocean to get even bigger. Alright, then moving on, I think the weekend after that, we fished some of the jetties that I like to fish a lot, which I've, you know, recorded at a bunch of my videos. Fishing just some regular stuff, but at the time the water was a little bit muddy and just nasty looking, and so I was throwing top water since the light was going down, and I caught this fish right here. And yeah, big old speckled trout, 20 inches on this top water right here. You can actually see around this first treble hook, there's some, I'm not sure if about on this side, let me see. Yeah, you can see it just barely maybe. There's just like a big old like semicircle right above it. That's where that fish hit. And that thing hit like, you know, like a freight train. Like hit it and was like, boom, it's just craziness. Kind of, not really scared me, but kind of surprised me. You know, caught me a little off guard, and reeled that sucker up. I thought it was going to be a PB, since that's where I caught my original PB trout at. Turns out just maybe just an inch short, but that's how it goes sometimes. And then the day after that, me and my buddy went out to the beach that we usually fish on, or maybe a different beach, I don't know, and caught a bunch of redfish, which I'll show right now. Both of those being good keepers, so we ended up keeping those. My friend played them up and kept them and ate them and really enjoyed them. So that was that. And then the weekend after that, as the molt ones started coming in just a little bit more, since that's usually what happens in this fall summer transition kind of area, we went back to the same jetties and caught some fish that aren't really native to around here, maybe in South Padre in Florida, but I'll show you them right now. Yeah, two or three good snook, you know, not like giant ones by any means, but you know, good 17 inchers, which I was surprised, and I was thoroughly, you know, excited that I was catching them. And I know there's some bigger ones out there. I'm not sure about right now, just because of how far along the mold run is, but it was incredible. And in that same night, I also caught this big ladyfish right here. That one was 24, maybe 25 inches. One of the bigger ones I've ever caught, and caught on the same swim bait I caught those other two on, which are usually the usual swim baits I use, the white DOAs, on this little JK like this one. Just working it as fast as I can on my rod, which I'll show you my rod later on. But yeah, caught those things in that big ladyfish, which was a ton of fun. I almost thought the ladyfish was redfish for a second, but turned out just to be regular ladyfish, just jumping all over the place. So lots of fun there. And then that was that weekend. I think we just fished that on or that might have been like a Thursday or something like that. And then didn't do too much fishing the weekends after that. I actually went hunting with my dad and uncle and a couple other people out in, I'm not really going to say where it was, but location out here in Texas, and going after hogs and some other predator species. Didn't get really any hogs for myself. My uncle shot one, which is a good sized one, and then that might have actually been it. I saw one hog for like a split second, but he just jumped out of the way, or like just fled right as he got into my like view. So that kind of stinks. And then I called for some fox. Saw a couple, but they're all really small. I couldn't really even get a shot on them. Also show you the picture of the deer that I saw when I was out there. Yeah, a good 10-pointer. It's still in velvet, but pretty awesome deer that I would shoot if I had the opportunity to. But since I'm not on the official lease out there, you know, I don't really have a say in shooting deer. I'd be happy to, but you know, since they're kind of working to manage some deer out there, I'm not even gonna worry about, you know, begging to go or anything. You know, I might get to go hunt deer out there this year. Who knows? But cool deer, one of the biggest ones I've ever seen out in the wilderness. And the weekend after that, we went out back to those jetties that we were fishing to catch all those snook and trout and everything at, and then caught good Spanish mackerel right here. Yeah, a good 20-inch right there on the same swim baits, just working it as fast as I can. Also caught a couple jacks that same day, but they're real small, and I didn't feel like taking a picture of them. But lots of fun there. Those things pull so hard. Man, jacks, Spanish mackerel, ladyfish, even trout too are really good. Really good. Well, pull hard sometimes, but not all the time. But all good fish to fight, I gotta say. All fun to catch on lures as well. I can never, you know, I think catching fish on lures is the most fun out of anything. So, yeah, I was excited. And then so after that big Spanish, next day we went out fishing for sharks with some bait that we had, well, some of the jacks that we had caught, and didn't catch any sharks. We caught this. My buddy caught this good. I keep forgetting what they're called. Bluefish, which I'll show you right now. Like maybe 3 or 4 pounder, maybe even 5. I don't know. The thing was chunky and had some nasty old teeth on him. I didn't even want to touch that thing. That thing is mean looking. We used him for bait. Didn't get anything on it, but that happens. And then we also tried using some live mullet out there on that same day. First, my buddy ended up catching this good redfish, which that thing was around 27 and a half or maybe 28 inches. Good redfish. Probably one of his bigger of this first semester. But yeah, tons of fun there. And then just a little bit later, I caught this trout. And yeah, that trout was 21 and a half inches, half inch bigger than my PB. So now I officially have a new PB trout, which was kind of crazy and kind of pissed me off that I didn't have my camera, but at least I got a picture of it. Awesome fish there, on live mullet of all things, and pretty dang cool. All those except for the redfish I think returned back. And that is essentially all the fishing that I didn't get on camera. After that, I did some bass fishing. That's to be the next 2 videos I'm be putting up next Sunday and the Sunday after that, which was a lot of fun. Some of the most fun I've had in a long time bass fishing, other than earlier in the summer, which was a lot of fun as well. Which those videos are also on my channel still. But yeah. Besides the fish that I caught and didn't even record them, which it stinks that I didn't record it, but you know, I had some problems with my storage device, and not much I could really do about that other than buying another one. I'm planning, since this next weekend, like I said, I'm going out to some jetties that could produce some good fish, like big jacks, big mackerel, both Spanish and kings, and then there's also a possibility of some good redfish, and maybe even sharks on lures. Which I want to show you some of the lures I plan to fish, and plan to fish some more for some big fish, because I've been really getting into watching these guys catch some big fish out in Australia or whatever, or maybe even not even Australia. I don't even know. These guys called Morning Tide Fishing, which I'll link them down below, so y'all can go check them out if you want to go see some big fish caught. I mean, and they've been catching big GTs, big Spanish mackerel, queenfish, which look freaking awesome. And also just all different kinds of tuna on big lures, and that's got me so jacked up to want to go do the exact same thing. But I know the trips out there would not be very, you know, they're not. It's a little expensive for myself, but I mean, I'll eventually get down there. You know, I'll eventually go catch a GT. But for now, since I'm in Texas and since I'm going to school here, I'm gonna focus on going after the big species that are present around here, which are jack crevalle. There are possibilities of big redfish, but then big mackerel, you know, like Spanish and kings. What else is there? Possibly even sharks on lures. That's what I want to get. Or even a big ladyfish, you know, just big stuff. I'm going to show you a couple of lures I plan to throw to catch some of these bigger fish. I'm going to start with some of the subsurface ones and work up to the ones I'm really looking forward to, such as the topwaters. First of all, this is big I think crocodile spoon or gator spoon. Good, like 2 ounce one right there. Haven't caught anything on that, but I'm looking forward to, because that's could be a big fish producer. Next is this, let's do this Yozuri jerkbait, little 3D crystal one. Really looking forward to catch some on that. Hope I'm going to be throwing that this weekend. This Unfair Lures jerkbait, pretty dang awesome one. Caught a couple fish on that. Hopefully going to catch some big stuff on that this weekend. There is this big swim bait right here from Predator Tackle. You know, that thing's almost as big as my hand, and I think there's some good fish I could catch on that one for sure. Yeah. And then this big live target swim bait as well, mullet. Matter of fact, it's not the same color of the mullet that we've been catching on cast nets and using this bait. This one looks really more like a pony mullet and horse mullet, which I still could catch something on it, you know, if I get right in front of his face, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll be able to toss that thing around. And then getting onto the lures, I'm wanting to throw bow shower, for sure. I don't know why I said it so weird like that. For sure, is, first of all, I have caught a fish on this, granted, I have, but I want to catch a big jack, or something else bigger on it. This big, you know, heading saltwater chug and spook thing is freaking giant, you know, almost the size of my hand, you know, and big fish lure right there. Hopefully gonna catch something big on that. And also, grand finale, a Roosta popper that my dad found on the beach for me a couple months ago in what I think is bonita color, is what I found on the internet. But yeah, I want to throw that big old thing on something, hopefully. Probably won't be throwing that on my own personal tackle. My buddy has some rods that I might be able to throw stuff on. Just depends on if he's gonna let me. But we'll find out. I really like to throw something on this, because you can see this thing's got some action on it too. It's got some paint scraped off this bottom here. It also has some bite marks on the side, so this thing has seen some action, and I like to throw that here as well, to get, you know, a Texas GT or just a Jack Crevalle, just because those things are so aggressive, you know, have so much energy and pull really hard, I've heard. So I really want to catch a big one, or even, you know, catch a big Spanish or king on it, or shark even. That would be freaking sick. You know, that's because that's the most that I can really do here. I plan to get a big setup here either next couple months, or maybe just next year when this mullet run's coming back in, just because that's when the bigger fish are gonna be around, and it's fixing to get cold, and you know, I'm still working on getting a job, so I can't really afford a big setup right now, but hopefully plan to get a good 10 and 9 foot setup for throwing, you know, big top waters and then big subsurface lures as well, just to go after those bigger fish around here, because I don't know too many people that like throwing a bunch of big lures around here personally, just because, you know, I guess there's not too much stuff, but I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna be throwing big lures not for now on, but when I can, just because there's a possibility of catching some big fish, and I want to be a part of that and start setting a standard for people who want to go after some big fish around here. But yeah, that's a majority of my well, that was the fish that I caught off camera and took pictures of, and plans for fishing from now on, and fishing, you know, this weekend or whatever, which stuff I want to fish for now on. Like I said, set the standard, you know. And me talking about this trip, you know, this is Sunday, so this is the day before that is what I'm talking about. Hopefully gonna be catching some big stuff on lures. Hopefully that's my plan. Hopefully we can do that and go after some bigger fish here in Corpus, because I know there's some big fish out here, you know. And I'm not just wanting to go just after reds too. I mean, I've caught. I don't want to be like, I'm not trying to make myself sound so high and mighty, but I've caught plenty of reds. You know, I'm wanting to move into some other fish like big jacks and big Spanish, some other big, you know, aggressive predator species. So that's the plan. And like I said, that's fish that I didn't get to record, and plans for now on and forever after this. Also, one last thing I forgot to say is what my actual setup is, which I have listed a bunch in the description, but I guess I'll show you all real quick. It's this right here. It's my Daiwa coastal casting reel, or air coastal casting reel, I don't entirely remember, in the description. And then I got my Stik GX2, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is, medium heavy. I use 30-pound main braid and also a 20-pound floral leader. Probably not the strongest leader I should be using. I should probably use a little bit heavier just because of the fish I'm going after. But yeah, that's the general setup I like using for good sort of my lures. Like I said earlier, I don't have a big setup yet, but I will in the future. So thank y'all so much for watching. You know, videos will be coming out on Sundays now, preferably just because that's usually the days I feel like I could get videos done and uploaded for y'all. So thank you so much for watching this. Thank you for hopefully sticking around with me. I know we're up to, I think, around 97 subscribers at the moment. So let's keep that going. Let's keep getting that number up to 100, because that was my year's goal. And I say that, and then I haven't really worked on videos in like 3 months. So, you know, if that happens, it happens. If not, it's next year's goal, or even double that. So thank y'all so much. I'll catch y'all next time with Zach G Outdoors. I'll see you there.